Boker Tov, it's a good morning indeed. In fact, it is a great morning. I'm the red, white, and blue Jew, aka Jake Donnelly, and unlike on October 7th, where Jews around the world woke up on Shabbat to some of the worst news any of us have ever heard in our entire lives. Yesterday, on Shabbat, we woke up to some of the greatest news ever. 4 Israeli hostages were rescued in good health. And that is just some of the best news ever. But because this is Israel, because this is Jews and Judaism, of course, there was some tragedy. Chief Inspector Arnon Zamora fell in battle, and to that beautiful soldier, that hero of the Jewish people and the Israeli people, the nation of Israel, we say, Baruch Dayon Ha'amet, blessed be he, the true judge, because only Hashem knows what goes on in this world, and only he is privy to those plans. And so we feel for the family of Arnon Zamora and all of the soldiers who have fallen protecting Israel since October 7th. But 4 hostages are back in Israel. The most moral army in the world continues to kick ass. And to all of you people like Piers Morgan and Candace Owens and Patrick Bet-David around the world who love to talk about the innocent Palestinian civilians, suck our circumcised sausages, go fuck yourself. These hostages were taken from the middle of a shuk. An entire neighborhood was complicit in the holding of these hostages. And over and over and over again, these people have said the innocent civilians, they shed tears. They grieve for the innocent Palestinian civilians. And from the very first day, I said, fuck that. Because I was sent so many videos on Telegram where it showed a bunch of civilians took place. I have seen the uncensored footage twice now. And in that uncensored footage, you see a ton of quote-unquote innocent Palestinian civilians. How, by the way, did they get the plans to attack Kibbutz Be'eri? How did they get such detailed information as to who lived where? So detailed, in fact, that they knew where the dogs were in the houses of the Kibbutzim. That's because so many of the innocent Palestinians took part in the planning of October 7th. They took part in October 7th itself. And now we know the innocent Palestinians took part in the holding of hostages. We know that the hostages were kept in schools. We know that they were kept in refugee areas. We know that the UNRWA helped in all of this. So when you hear somebody say innocent Palestinians, you go on the offensive. You ask a very simple question, the likes that Piers Morgan keeps asking Israeli spokespeople. Be precise. How do you know how many civilians? You're telling me you don't know how many innocent Palestinians you have killed? You first now fucking tell me how many innocent Palestinians are in Gaza. How many innocent Palestinians are in Judea and Samaria? When so many innocent Palestinians, the type of, by the way, innocent Palestinians like the women and children, like the women who hijack planes, like the women who stabbed security guards, like the 14-year-old children who stabbed and killed Ari Fold. All of those innocents, because those innocents were the same fucking people that were holding the hostages. So fuck you. Absolutely not. Every time you hear somebody say innocent Palestinians, you ask them, you tell them, be precise, be extremely precise. I want you to tell me, pinpoint the innocent Palestinians right now in Gaza. Everybody keeps throwing around the term collective punishment. Collective punishment is when you punish the collective for the actions of a few. What's happening right now in Gaza is punishment to those who deserve it, to those who have aided and abetted the harboring of hostages. So many civilians are not civilians. They are combatants. They are those that are hiding rockets. They're hiding munitions. They are hiding hostages. Those are your quote-unquote innocent Palestinians. They're not innocent. You are not innocent when you harbor hostages. You are not innocent when you house RPGs. You are not innocent when there is a terror tunnel in your living room, in your daughter's bedroom. Nothing about you, nothing about that is innocent. You are complicit. Yeah, that's right. That squeak should tell you everything that you need to know. Every single person that is in one of those neighborhoods that is harboring a hostage and is not letting the IDF know that there are hostages here. This is what you need to know. Those innocent Palestinians had no problem giving over all of the information that led to October 7th. But now, those very same innocent Palestinians don't want to hand over the information as to exactly where the hostages are. And when you know where there are hostages, when you know that is the reason that you are currently under a military advancement in your quote-unquote refugee camp where there are munitions, where there are hostages. You are complicit. You are a combatant. So that whole entire narrative of the innocent Palestinians, that's fucking done. It was never real to begin with. But now we know the truth. Now we understand just how many people have helped to continue this war. It's not the Bibi Netanyahus that are prolonging this war. It is the quote-unquote innocent Palestinians who are prolonging this war, that are helping Hamas, that are harboring hostages. Your journalists are harboring hostages. Your doctors are harboring hostages. So now you have to tell me and the rest of the world why, if you're harboring hostages, if you're holding munitions in your areas, if you are doing everything to aid and abet Hamas, tell me why at any point you are an innocent. I know you're not. The world knows you're not. But more than anything else, the IDF now knows you're not. So now you're all complicit. Now you are all in the firing line. And there's a very simple way to get out of that firing line. Hand over all of the hostages. Pressure Hamas to surrender. But if you don't do that, you're not an innocent. You are not an innocent. If you can't tell Hamas to surrender immediately and hand over all the hostages. Because now we know the hostages are still alive. We know that we now not just can, but should do everything in our power to bring the hostages home today. And there is not a single person, there is not a single entity that is going to stand in the way of the Israeli Defense Force to bring home not just Israeli citizens, not just American citizens, but citizens the world over. And Hamas is going to go. And anybody in Gaza, anybody in Judea and Samaria that harbors these hostages is not an innocent. In fact, it is the polar opposite. You are a combatant, and you are going to get what combatants deserve. Death and destruction upon you until your side surrenders and hands over every last hostages. Red, white, and blue Jew out. See you next time.